Hello, everybody. Eddie here, and this is another podcast highlight extra, highlight pack Vol.2. I think I'm calling it now. So yeah, I'm just giving myself a small little break from things. It's been really nice to recover, catch up on a few things, personal stuff, and other things. And just in case you don't know what these highlight packages are, basically these are like the podcast extras I've been recording behind the Patreon wall. But I thought I'll use these as highlights just to give people a taste of what you're missing out on the, on the other side of the Patreon wall. Hopefully, it's an incentive for you to go. Do you know what? I'm gonna sign up for that, and I'd be really appreciative if you did. But enough about that. Enough about that really crappy sales pitch. So first up is this podcast show was which was about the MCM London review, the good and bad, the ugly, as I called it at the time. In this podcast extra with Oily from Born of the Dead and Lele from Lele Cosplay, we talked about many things. One of which was this newly announced London event from MegaCon Live, which they announced at the time, which I was going to get people's views on that. We were talking about the use of the creator passes and other stuff. And straight after that one, it's the why is everyone I think I called it angry or annoyed with MCM London. Again, in that podcast section, we were talking about. Well, I should introduce to say I was talking to Oscar from Oscar Luna and Charlotte from Charlotte Walsh Photography, stroke cosplay, and we were talking about how Oscar missed out on my slots on my schedule for photos, but somehow Charlotte got one, and yeah, that was a small funny story about that. We're talking about like small photography etiquette as well, yeah, and other things. And finally, we talk with Lydia from Celery Moon Cosplay about the value of MCM London, and it's quite interesting because I've then pitched in the extra what would it take to bring her back to the event, to come back to London and then see that. I might have given her a threat in that podcast, but hey ho, we'll see if she ever turns up again. I'm sure she will. I'm sure my threats doesn't mean much. But anyway, I hope you enjoy these podcast extras, and there'll probably be one, maybe two more highlight packages after this one. And hopefully we'll be back to our usual program of I was going to say live podcasts. They're not really live, but recorded new content. So catch you guys soon. Bye. Let's talk about very quickly. I want to talk about this new con. I say new con. It's not new. It's just a new location for MegaCon Live London. And I kind of want to hear, just very briefly, because I do want to talk about how much we enjoyed Well, if anyone did enjoy MCM London, regardless of what we just said. But yeah, I'll start with... no, do you know what? I'll start with Oily. Oily, how did you take the news? I mean, I'm assuming, one, you've heard the news, and secondly, what do you think of it?
This came off the back of me having quite a well publicized rant on my Instagram about how much I just was hating the MCM prices, basically. And then it was like MegaCon had just heard my prayers and they just went, "Oh, did you like MegaCon this year? Oh, here you go. What about if we did a London one as well?" And I was like, brilliant, love it, yeah. So yeah, I was really pleased to hear it. I thought it made sense as well. And also, you're saying that they haven't done it, but the owner of MegaCon is the old owner of MCM. So in some ways, they already know, like, the London, that con, basically. I don't know if maybe I was a little bit disappointed to hear it was XL again, but then do you think that XL is maybe the best venue in the UK for a Comic-Con?
Who knows where? I mean, I think they've tried everywhere else, or they tried to look everywhere else. To be fair, if you think about it, the only other place you can do is the Olympia. Everyone hates the Olympia. Yeah. I think there's one in North London. Again, I don't think it's got great transport link. The space is okay, but it's not renowned for it. It's not good.
Personally, I don't like the Olympia. I don't like it. Yeah, I think the XL is better.
Yeah, I do want to understand how they got around the exclusivity. From what I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but years ago I heard that there's an exclusivity from MCM. I mean, even from the previous. I think this came from the previous owner. That the only Comic Con that can appear at the XL is MCM. Now, but I wonder if it's because MegaCon Live isn't targeted as a Comic Con. It's something else, which is interesting. But anyway, we'll get to that little point in a minute. Layla, what about yourself? Have you heard the news? And what
I
do you
have
think?
heard the news. So I've actually never been to MegaCon, any of the other ones, because I'm a piece of shit, so I haven't been. I just have never. Last year I had conventions in America and things I was going to and stuff, and I just couldn't afford to also do. Because when did MegaCon first start?
The
It
first
was
one, March, March,
22,
but
I think.
yeah, 22 March.
It
Yeah,
was last year. No,
yeah,
the year before last. Last year.
yeah, last year. Yeah.
Last year, and I just haven't been because of I went to 2 conventions in the States as well and stuff, and I just couldn't really do additional ones in the UK. So I don't really know what MegaCon is like firsthand. But I was if I saw the news, I was excited by the idea of there being a different London one because of MCM prices.
Mhm.
um, I'm a little bit wary about the date.
Oh yeah, the renowned great weathered season of January to be wearing outdoor cosplays. Yes, yes.
Although
Also,
Yeah,
you
go
no,
on.
no,
say
no.
January, and everyone's going, oh, it's out of con season. I even saw a post from someone in the expo group being like, oh, I don't really know Comic Cons, but they've said that this MegaCon's going to be out of con season. What does that mean? Like, is it going to be bad? And actually, I think a lot of the time, when it gets over that Christmas time, I'm actually I want a Comic Con to go to. I want something to look forward to. So actually,
Really?
for me, I think it's good. Like, because I think it's nice that I'll be able to do something else, sort of in that dead zone of the year.
I think I think timing's bad, not just weather-wise, but I think it's just come after Christmas.
This is
Is the only
exactly
thing
what
I
I was
do.
going to say.
I
This
do
is my
also
issue.
think, yeah,
I don't mind, like, the weather I can deal with. I will wear warmer cosplays, and if it rains, I'll
yeah,
go inside, and it's fine. It's the money, because it's literally a 2 week space at 2-3 weeks after
Yeah.
Christmas and New Year's, and no one's even been paid yet since Christmas. A lot of people get paid early at Christmas, don't they? They often get paid before Christmas,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Is that long slog, isn't it?
it's that long weird month where,
yeah.
like, people have been paid just before Christmas and then they don't get paid again until the end of January and they're struggling. A lot of people won't really have the money to go to a convention in that time. Like, even if it was February, so people had just one payday after Christmas, it might have worked out better. But I don't know if I'd be able to afford it then. I don't, and I think a lot of other people might be in the same boat.
Although it will be quite well priced, so
Well, yeah. But right, so we're talking about value for money. So This is interesting. So Lele, from based on what you've seen from other people or heard, what do you think happens at a MegaCon live?
I mean, I don't know. It seems like a
Okay,
like
all
a
right.
con. I don't
Okay,
this
okay. Hang on.
you're making it sound like it's some kind of like demonic worshipping cult.
Yeah,
or something.
is there something I don't know here
No,
that
okay.
goes on at AmericaCon Live?
This is my This is my perception of it. Very, very quickly. So it's not in my eyes. It's not a Comic Con. Okay, it's not even a media event. But they do have. I think the last Birmingham Birmingham MegaCon live. They had some voice actors appearing. I don't think it's geared towards cosplayers per se. Cosplayers do turn up, that's fine.
They definitely don't push it as hard as
No,
MCM do.
really don't. It's very. If you look at the signage, look at the mascot they have. It's very family orientated. Very heavy that. So I think that's how they got around the. It's not a Comic Con. That's where they can be in the Excel. Everyone thinks everyone because everyone knows or have heard it's from the previous owner of MCM. So they think, oh my god, we're going to have the big event again. We're going to have all these old stores back. We're going to have the big corporate. The first Birmingham MegaCon Live, it was in the fairly small hall, and it didn't have much in it. You could go in it in about half a day and be done with
Right.
it.
I thought the first MegaCon was in halls
What?
1 to 3,
No.
wasn't it?
No. So
Oh no, you are right. Yes,
yes,
because 2 was the Q hall, wasn't it?
yeah, two of the
Or
queue, and then there was also a kiddies area they call Kidtropolis or something like that.
Yeah,
And then
you are right.
and then the next door after that, there was TikTok Fest. I can do another podcast
Oh,
about this.
Talkfest is the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk about it another day. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't know if I think people's expectations are so high, thinking it's an MCM replacement. It's not, or the old London Super Comic Con, which was definitely comic focus, and everyone loved the vibe of that. Everyone's thinking, "Oh, it's going to be like that." I think generally next year, people who haven't been to MegaCon Live are going to be very disappointed. It's not an MCM, not even like an MCM light. They could just go, "Oh," because I bet they're going to expect like they're going to have. I can't predict what they're going to have, but I think they're going to have maybe about 2-3 halls instead of like the 5 on the one side and another 4 on the other side. They're not going to have that much space. They're not
Right.
going to have that much
No.
space, and I think a lot of people have that expectation, and it's not going to be that big. So it's
Oh.
going to be. That's why I'm saying you're going to say, "Wow, this is cheap. I can go to this one." It's going to be cheap for a reason, I think.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do see that, and also I won't go fully into the Talkfest thing because we don't have time for that. But
Yeah,
I think at the NEC, where the Talkfest is, I know that there's a lot of problems with sort of con attendees running into Talkfest attendees
Mhm.
and sort of vice versa.
Yeah.
But at least I feel like the NEC, there's quite a lot of space, so they haven't really been forced together. I'm a little bit worried that at XL there isn't that space because that main concourse is not very wide, and I think that, like you say, yeah, I feel like it's going to be either that it's going to be like one side is Talkfest and then the other side is MegaCon, or like
Yeah.
they're going to be some hall sharing, and I think that maybe the problems that people have been having with Talkfest is going to be much worse. But then
Absolutely.
on the flip
Yeah.
side, you're saying like, oh, like, are people going to enjoy it? But then if what you want from a con is like what a lot of us want, which is that we just want to go and see our friends and we just want to go and maybe do some shoots, are we actually going to notice a lot of what's inside beyond, if you walk around one morning and then you look around, you look at what you want to look at, and then you go, yeah, that's fine. But then are you actually going to notice it the rest of the weekend? Because you might not even go back in.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is what I do.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
You know.
Because what was it? Was it the first MegaCon Live Birmingham? Because the weather was so good, everyone was outside getting photos, and it did make
Yeah.
MegaCon Live indoors very sparse. And it did think, oh shit, because the weather this year was a little colder and things like that. It forced people in a little bit more, and I think it made it a bit more enjoyable. As like, oh, people were here actually, and things like that. But yeah, no. Anyway, go on.
Also, what that showed was between, because obviously when we were walking around in 2022, it was in Hall 1, which is right next to the lake. So the access to the lake was really easy for people that wanted to go out and take photos. And I think that's why it emptied out so much. And then this time it was up in, I think it was like Hall 19, which is where
the
MCM
other,
normally is.
yeah, the other butt end of it, yeah.
And there was more people in it. And I think that's because the bit outside there just isn't as nice for taking photos.
Probably not as nice, but also
I know you get creative with your backgrounds and it looks good, but
thank you.
I feel like, most people that are going to do like a point and click photography,
sorry, carry on.
easy. The lake is the grey walls of the NEC, basically.
No, but at least
right?
but you at least get some texture and things like that. But yeah, carry on.
At least it's a nice sort of blank, neutral background. It's like you can put a lot of cosplays in front of it and they'll look all right, basically. But I think that's wise because it was so close in 2022. That's why a lot of people emptied it out. And then in 23, it obviously showed that people weren't really going to make the effort to walk to the lake. So I wonder if, because London also has that nice outside area that people love, I wonder if the same thing will happen. I realise it's going to be January, though.
Yeah,
and it will be colder.
Yeah,
it could also be heaving with rain because it's January.
Exactly.
Or it might just be a nice winter day, and then you can have some moody shots. So I don't know what's gonna,
Oh god. Anyway, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. That's all I'm gonna. We'll watch the space. I'll probably end up going because it's just down the road, in a sense, for me, things like. Anyway, I want to move on to something just a bit more cheerful, or hopefully it'll be cheerful, but because it's really interesting when a lot of people came up to me this weekend and asked me, "How are you, Ed?" And I went, "Or how are you? How are you enjoying your weekend?" My answer was consistent all 3 days. I fucking loved it this year. I don't know it's because I was away for 12 months because I didn't turn up to the October one. So maybe, but I have been to other cons. It's not like I have been devoid of Comic Cons for 12 months. It's just the London one has always got something special to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really had the weather, as Oily mentioned, the weather was good. Generally, the weather was good. I just had a really good time. I was seeing all my friends and things like that. It was, and things like that. I hardly had. There was no drama around me except for that one photographer who decided to shout at me. That was so bad. Just if anyone hasn't seen on Instagram, but basically I did a reaction video from an experience where an elderly photographer decided to yell at me because I was telling him he was sniping my shot and should have asked permission. He proceeded to tell me, just to summarize it, no, I don't, because there's open space. I almost proceeded to say, no, that's street photography. This is a private event. You still need to ask permission. Plus, these people, also, these persons that you're shooting are people. They would like some respect. But anyway, carry on. So, but no, generally, I just generally had a really good 3 days. I didn't push myself. I wasn't running here, there, and everywhere. It actually, I will have to admit, it was really nice. Not really nice. It was really funny to get notification. Go, what's this been? And it's a picture of me on the floor. I just started cackling. So I might have to create a TikTok video out of that. But yeah, and I generally had a really good, like, I don't know why. I can't really put my finger at why I had a great 3-day weekend, but I really did.
You seemed like you were in a very good mood whenever I saw you.
I really was. I generally was. I just loved being there. It's not like I haven't seen some people for a few, for 12 months. Like I said, I've seen them at other events, and it's just, yeah, it just felt, yeah. I don't know what else to say.
I think definitely. What do you think, Lele? Did you find that it was really good there as well?
I had a really nice time. I kind of took this with a much more chilled out attitude. Like sometimes we're quite frantic getting ready. You know how long it can take to get into cosplay sometimes, and we're quite frantic in the morning in the hotel rooms. Like, oh my god, it's 9 o'clock already, and and it can be a bit of a mad rush, and you book loads and loads of shoots, and you're like, oh god, I need to get to this person, that person. Whereas this time, I said to Eddie earlier, we didn't stay in a hotel this time because of the hotel prices were insane.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
So we stayed at Becca's house, which is about a 45-minute drive away from the XL, so it's not bad. So we just drove in and out each day, and we just got ready like at a chilled pace. And we were like, well, when we get there, like it's not a big deal. If we don't get there till 11:30, we don't get there till 11:30. Like it's fine, and didn't overbook like crazy amounts of shoots and stuff or anything like that. And it was just nice because of that. Like it just felt really calm and really chill. And like you said, like I got to see friends and I got to get some nice pictures, and it was just it was nice.
I think the fact that it's sunny always it starts you in a good mood. And I went into this weekend almost like willing it to not be good because of sort of all of the MTM drama. And actually, I'd been suffering from a really bad toothache, and it had sort of infected a lot of my face, which wasn't nice. And I'd complained about it on my story, basically. And it was just so lovely, the amount of people that saw me at the con and said, "Oh, like, are you feeling like? How are you feeling? Like, are you okay? Do you need anything?" And I just was, like you both said, like how just nice and touching it was. I think that was like in the main podcast, we did complain a lot about lots of things, but I think the thing that we weren't ever complaining about was the community, was actually the people going. Just continue to just be really lovely and really make con. So I had a lovely time, kind of because of everyone that was there.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. It was, it's so lovely to honestly just hear everyone's just enjoying themselves. As much as we did just bitch and moan about the good and the bad and the ugly, but it's I don't know. Like I said, it's an event I look forward to. I always love going to it. I keep saying this. I'm very fortunate that so far every year been given a press pass so that I can enjoy the event at a very minimal cost, and that's why I try not to. No, I don't try. I just don't charge people at an event. I do ask a donation, but I'm not forcing it. You know, I'm not holding the photos to ransom. If you don't give me this money, it's like, you know, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. You know, the cost of living is still about and all that. So, you know, it's something I would. Yes, you know, it's. I'll be very sad if I won't be able to go because they decide not to give me a press pass. I do think, and I don't know if I should say it here. I do find it funny. A lot of the creators and the photographers who were denied a pass bitched and moan about it because I'm thinking. I've always said this. Great that you got a creator pass this time round, but what are you doing? It's not what you're doing for this event to promote it. It's what you're doing in the future to make sure you are helping, you know, just giving them free advertising. Like, what work are you giving to MCM to say, yes, I would like to give that person a creator pass? I know, Layla, you said you were denied one. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that very quickly?
So me and Becca did apply for ours late. Which we think may have had an impact on it. The applications had been open for a good month and a half before we actually applied. Usually we apply straight away. I got denied at first. Then I argued with them for 3 weeks. Then I got one. So yeah, that's my tip. Argue with them for 3 weeks. So this is the thing. Like, I consistently, post all the time. I don't have like big gaps where I'm not posting and things. I have good engagement and stuff with my followers and things. I go to MCM every year. I've done stage panels on MCM in the past, talking and things on stage. So I was quite shocked when I didn't get one, but I do think maybe the timing of when we applied, they said they didn't have any left. Um, I I argued with them. I will say, however, that some of the people that I saw, not anyone that I actually know, like I don't, but some people that I saw that had creator passes, I found it interesting that they had a creator pass.
Go on,
Um,
say their names. Say
I
their
know,
names.
honestly, there was one particular person I don't know. I honestly don't know his name. He came up to us, wanting some video, like he wanting to film something for his whatever, for his Instagram or whatever. And he was a character. That's the word to use. He was an interesting man.
No, please be more vague. This is
I don't
so
know.
helpful.
I don't know. Like, do you want me to give like the full story? Because
No,
of it
no,
could
no.
He was a carbon-based life form.
like this thing. I don't want to say anything that's going to
No,
identify the person.
don't worry. No, I
Then,
don't understand that.
you know what I mean? I don't want to seem like I'm like
Yeah, yeah.
bitching.
Oh no,
But
I was gonna like do a shitty joke by saying, "Was this person by any chance Eddie from Food and Cosplay?" So I do apologise.
yeah, there was this really weird man, and he like took pictures of me on a couple of
He had
days.
a red hoodie, and then he wanted to look at my feet.
Yeah, and like, I mean, if I had to describe him, I guess I'd say he's like this like Asian photographer or something.
Yeah.
Like,
That Asian photographer. Yeah, I know.
yeah,
I know.
yeah, yeah. No, this guy. I won't say exactly. I won't say what he got us to do for the video. That sounds really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wanted to talk about a particular subject on the video. I won't say what. And it was just all very odd. It was very odd, and we after the whole encounter, we just looked at each other, and because I noticed that he had a creator badge around his neck, and we just looked at each other and was like, "How on earth did he get a creator pass?" But Becca didn't. Like,
Yeah.
this does not add up. This doesn't make sense, kind of thing, because of who on earth is watching whatever he's putting out there, because it's just bizarre. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's got maybe he actually has 1 million followers and people love him. I don't know. But it was a surreal experience, to be honest. It was
Yeah.
he was an interesting. man.
I think what Eddie what Eddie was saying, which is that the creator pass or the press pass or the industry pass isn't supposed to be a free ticket.
No,
Like
it's not. You're
it's
supposed
essentially
to be
yeah,
giving back
it's a
for it. Yeah,
yeah, it's a job basically, isn't it?
yeah,
It's a we're basically giving you a job to do this weekend, which is promote our event or promote the community, and in return, in order to do your job, we're giving you this access essentially.
yeah. At the same time, I think they can't expect too much when all they're giving you is a free ticket. They're not actually paying you.
No, I also do
No.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, 100% on that. But like I said, I don't ever try to abuse that. And like I said, I try to shoot as many people as I can. Again, I don't want to name names, and even though this is behind a paywall, it's like I had the same sympathy, not sympathy, same thoughts when I see other people with creative badges. I'm thinking, I'm not saying I'm on social media all the time. I'm not like check out on every profile, but there are some people that I look at and think, yeah, how do you get this? How do you
Mm.
wrangle
Yeah.
this? I just don't understand. And it really does bother me. So yeah,
Yeah.
And at the same time, I saw a bunch of people this year that didn't get creator passes that I
Yeah.
know from Thursday evening right through to like Sunday evening are just consistently they're shooting anyone that wants to shoot, and they're doing and they literally they're dedicating their whole weekend to it,
yeah,
Yeah.
and for some reason they're not allowed a creator pass, and then on the other hand you have again, won't name names, but people that I personally think are quite elitist and only shoot 4 people over a weekend, but they're allowed a creator pass because just because they're a big name sort of thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if what you're talking about, what I'm talking about, are the same people. But
You have to do it off the record. Yeah.
we'll definitely do it off the record. Damn straight. I did have a thought about that. No, I wonder. Yeah, this kind of backs up what I was saying on the main podcast about like trying to like manage who can get into the event, because like I said, security were really on it, like making sure everyone who was going in, either into the open air area or into the building, they checked the passes. And I wonder if it's because they were frivolous about it from previous years, and they went, "Shit, we are losing money here. Fuck, we better. How can we cut costs?" And I
Yeah.
wonder if it's.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's that. And the other thing I was going to mention in the podcast, which I forgot, the £95 bit. We don't know if it's actually Repop who are increasing it per se. It could have been. It could be the Excel itself. They could be
Yes.
going.
I've said this before that
Yeah.
obviously with the cost of living and everything going up, and how much is electric gone up by
Yeah.
in the last year? Like insane. My electric bill, I hate looking at it now. It's basically like doubled in price, to be honest.
Hmm.
Like, it's insane. How much electric gets used in the Excel to run an event like that?
Yeah. Exactly.
You can't keep their prices the same, can they?
Mm.
With when the cost of the utilities to actually run it have gone up so much that they're going to have to increase their prices to rent it out. Like
Yeah.
it makes sense,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, Eddie, it didn't help that I completely missed all your slots. They went like that. They were gone
my God.
before I could even book
It
one.
was weird, wasn't it? Because I managed. Eddie, do you want to tell them about how I got my slot with you?
So from Luna's point of view, as Luna actually said, like literally went in within 3 hours, I would say. Let's say 3 hours. So every slot was taken.
He's so popular, guys.
Shut up. But then there was I do go through it and try to make sure that certain if certain cosplayers book me twice, I actually cancel one or two, so it gives everyone a fair chance to at least get one slot from me, which is fine, because I think that it is fair that way. I don't want to. I also have a thing that I don't want to be seen to be shooting the same 4 cosplayers at every event. No shade on other people. And what do you mean? Why not? Do you just want me to shoot you, Charlotte, all the time? No one else.
Exclusively, yeah.
Exclusively.
Can
Okay.
you follow me around the whole con, just shooting me the whole time? I actually wouldn't even say no to that. I'm a disgusting person. Carry on.
I mean, as long as you, as you would say, hire me for that type of service, then
I would do that.
yeah.
Buy you a creative pass to con.
Yeah. And so I think a couple of hours or a couple of days later, I looked through the list again and went, oh, this person has 2 slots. oh, we have to cancel one of them. And I thought, actually, that gives me a breather. I'll just, this would be great. This is fine. Then a couple of days after that, I got a notification that said, someone's taken a slot. I went, what slot? Wait, what? So I looked at it and went, oh my God, of all people to take that last slot. And guess who it was?
Who was it, Eddie?
Ah, you know who it was.
I don't actually.
It was you.
Me.
So
from my perspective, you posted and you said, all my slots are full, which was great, but Instagram hadn't showed me your thing where it was like, I have slots. So my brain went, they're not fucking full. I don't have a slot. So I clicked on it. And there was a slot available. I went, I'll take that. 30 seconds later, I've got a fucking phone call. And it's going, how did you manage to book a slot? And I was like, I went on your slot booking thing and I booked the slot that was there. And then you're like, and I was basically, you must have made it available, and I booked it within like 20 minutes of it happening.
Yeah, I once I cancelled that one slot, I forgot to like decommission it. So
yeah,
it's my fault for leaving it open.
To be
because
fair, I did then say like, if you want me to cancel
Yeah.
or whatever, but I think you also know that I'll be fast, so and
no,
you want to see me, and I'm your special favorite, right?
Yeah, of course, yes.
You now
Yeah.
can't use the podcast name I've given you. That's mine. I'm trademarking it right now.
No, oh no. No, it's fine. No, when I saw your name, one, I was stunned, but two, I thought, I know if I say a time and you'll be there, because I know you would not mess me around. I
mess you around.
Yeah, I do worry when I work with someone new that they will mess me about. But I think word has gotten around that said, if you mess Eddie around, he will not shoot you. He will blacklist you. I think word has gotten round that people do treat me as much of a professional photographer as what they do treat as a contract to say, you will be here at this time with this outfit, subject to change, the costume at the time. And yeah, I think people treat me as a known quantity and treat me fairly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that like? Because I don't get that.
No, I mean, I look, everyone says to me, oh, you're so cos famous, Eddie, or you're so popular and things like that. It's like, I don't know. I have a very negative outlook about myself. Not recently, but like for a long time. Recently, my outlook about myself has improved, but for a long part of my life, it's always been quite negative. So part of me is thinking, people only want to shoot with me because they know they'll get photos out of me. They don't actually care the person behind the camera. But I know that's actually shit thinking, and that's just my negativity kicking in. And I've always said, which is another podcast I need to record, is about being a professional at a Comic-Con. Like, though we're not professional photographers, I think the act of acting professional will go a long, long way. And here are the reasons, type of thing. And things like that. And, like, I had a thought and now it's disappeared, so I think someone else needs to jump in.
I mean, I was dead proud of you for getting feisty with someone for sniping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heck yes.
So, if anyone's not seen it, and it's on my Instagram, and I'll link, if I remember, I'll link it on the Patreon link description. So the story goes, I was in the middle of a shoot. Now, I had my 70 to 200 mil telephoto lens, which means I can't be standing close to the model when I'm shooting. I totally understand that. So from a distance, it could look like a cosplayer standing still doing nothing. Totally understand that, and I understand that if you don't see a photographer nearby, you think she's free. Fair enough. I understand that. So I kind of both aggressively but politely said, excuse me, I'm shooting here also. And I just thought, I'll educate this guy. Did you ask the permission of this model? Which he then replied, have you? And I went, yes. And then he proceeded to tell me, oh, but don't worry. I don't remember if he said the word don't worry, but he definitely used the word, I'm allowed to shoot because it's open public space. And I'm like, no, there are actual guidelines that you do need to ask and actually gain permission. Like, I should have said the words cosplay is not consent. And then he pretended to tell me to fuck you, and then walked off. And I went, I think he knows I'm right, but I did tell him to fuck off as well.
Nice. I like
Told him
that.
to fuck you. But I just found it so weird that people like him exist. And I did kind of half quantify, kind of half explained it, that I understand from probably, I don't think he's a seasoned cosplay photographer. So I can only think he's from like maybe street photography and things like that. But what the way I was saying about the guidelines is that actually we're not in public space. We are outdoors, but we're not in public an area, because the fenced off area is part of a private event. It just so happens to be outside.
Yeah.
You do need to ask, because cosplay is not consent. You can't treat people like objects. This is what I was trying to get at. There are still people behind that. If I stuck my camera in his face, I'm sure he would 100% get annoyed by it. By the way, I did find out on that weekend the male version of a Karen is called a Chad. So I shall now refer to him as Chad.
For the first time, I had a kind of, well, not for the first time, but for the first time, like, properly, in like an actual stereotype way. So I came into con on Friday and it was so warm, like some of the glue on my prosthetics was melting, and I was like trying to be as calm as I possibly could, having done 5 hours of makeup, to arrive at an event and find that something is melting. So I was doing all the like, it's okay, like, we're just going to stop at Costa, grab some napkins, the glue dries clear, so just need to dab the glue away, fix it. So I'm sitting there with like a tissue on my face, and my friend, who I love dearly, is freaking out for me, which was quite funny. And this guy comes up to us as I'm sitting there and goes, "Can I take a picture of you guys?" And she went, "Excuse me." And he went, "Can I take a picture of you guys now?" And she went, "Obviously not. We're dealing with an emergency." And I just found it really strange, because I'm sitting there with the tissue up to my eye. So I was like, best case scenario, I've got a makeup issue. Worst case scenario, I'm in tears. And you thought now was the time to come and ask. And he seemed really like perturbed that we'd said no. And I was like, this is the only thing as a cosplayer. Like, even if a member of the public sniped, could you just like have a modicum of common sense with it? Because
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were tearing up. I really thought you were fine.
yeah, no, it was this weird short guy. I could barely see him over the counter.
I wish
Hey!
people would like actually think before they took a photo. Like, there is a photo of me from Hyper Japan in like 2012 eating a bowl of shaved ice in costume, and it's the ugliest photo in existence. It's shocking, but I'm like, why did you think now was a good time to take the picture?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know it existed. I found it on Flickr like a month later.
Oh my god. I think it's hard because you're like, I get that some people want to take casual pictures of cosplayers, but also like, we don't want you to do that necessarily. Unless for whatever reason, when I was, dripping glue into my eye, I looked super fucking hot, which I didn't. I could see myself. I was great. Then, like, you still have to ask.
Oh no, 100%. And like I said, I will passionately talk about like sniping to the end of until I'm blue in the face or be told to fuck you, because clearly that's what happens. But yeah, I had to laugh it off, because I knew I won the round. I won my argument, because when someone tells you to fuck you first, you think you have to resort to swearing. I win.
I do want to say, on behalf of photographers, but also Eddie and I hope the kind of core photographers, as I call them at the moment, there's probably about 9 or 10 that go to every con. The amount that the professionalism has stepped up in terms of like people asking for pictures, like getting information, and cosplayers crediting is getting better. And I think that photographers being super fucking professional and having a massively like high boundary when it comes to shooting people is really helping people understand that like we're there creating art, not just having a fun day like chilling. And it's like nice to hear that obviously that people like Eddie will stand up for cosplayers, because there's times as a cosplayer when I'm having difficulty and I can't stand up for myself, and I do kind of rely on the people I'm working with to tell other people to like stop. And a few photographers did do that this time. I was really pleased, because I was like, thank you for giving me space.
Oh yeah, I will. Yeah, I don't want to make this about a sniping podcast or extra
We've already
podcast.
done that, I think.
I know, exactly. But it's the fact that a lot of people look to me when people want to take their photos. Oh, is it all right to take my photos? Yes, I'm okay. Don't ask me, though. Ask the model. I'm not the one that needs, in a sense, the primary permission. It's up to the model to say, either I'm shooting with this person, could you come back later? Or, yes, very quickly, it's just a selfie, fine, come with me. Things like that. I don't. As long as it's asked and the cosplay is involved primarily, then I'm okay to like step aside for a little bit. So it just, yeah. Like I said, I can talk blue in the face about sniping, but I don't have. I don't want to always be the thing about me is the sniping.
That was what I was known for many years. Genuinely.
Sorry.
No,
Well,
not
for
for
sniping other
sniping.
people.
Yeah, I was known no, for ages when I first did my photography TikTok and when I was doing reels, the biggest thing that people would ask me about when they met me at con is they'd be like, "Is sniping actually real? Like you've talked about sniping or not?" I was like, "Yes," and it's weird that most people don't, and I'm really pleased that more people are now aware of it. So more people are stepping in, so it's happening less. Genuinely, it's happening less,
Yeah.
which is great.
Absolutely. I was really tempted to take a picture of him, stick it on my social medias, but I thought, do you know what? That's not fair. I know I should name and shame him, but at the same time, it's like I've always said, I think people still have a right to life and to have an enjoyment. And I don't want people to like go, I know who that guy is. Oh, I'm going to name and shame him fully. And then everyone's going to get on his back. And, oh my God. It's like, that's not going to help. He needs to know what the rules are, and shouting at him and bullying him out the community is not the way to do it. To actually calmly say to him, look, and I don't know if I was calm that day. I will admit that. I think I was calm enough, but he might have seen this aggressive Chinaman shouting at him, which is fair enough. That could have been the actual thing. But I just want to say that I just want him to learn and know that this is not the behavior we expect in our community. You may find it acceptable in other communities, which is acceptable, fair enough, but not in the cosplay community. That's all.
Woo!
There we go.
That's fine, and things like that. So yeah.
I have a quick question for Luna, actually.
Ooh,
Do you find this is purely based on my own research as a cosplayer? Do you find that when you're wearing big dresses, like with trains, like you're wearing this year, do you find more people just want to take pictures of you without asking than otherwise? Because I always, especially people with kids, if you're in a big dress, they're like, "Oh, I'll quickly snap a picture for my kids," and I'm like, "This is weird because it doesn't happen to me in other costumes. It's literally the big ones."
Yeah, I think it's almost like, oh, it's a princess. Take a photo.
Oh, I guess maybe.
It is weird. I definitely find it more in my ball gowns than I do my really obscure other things.
Fair. Eddie, do you
That's
find when
cool.
you're in your ball gowns you get sniped more?
Yes, I when I'm showing my balls. Sorry, ball gowns. Yes, sorry. When I'm wearing my ball gown, absolutely. Loads of people just compliment me. I just love it, and then just people just end up sniping me. Absolutely, 100%.
Like, I imagine the people that do like massive armor builds get the same thing.
I was shooting with the lovely Lara and Tony, who do it's the.tony.tone.al, I think. He did a full Iron Man suit, and he looks incredible. Like it's all handmade by him, 3D printed. It's insane, lights up, blah blah blah.
Oh, I found him for you. I don't know where you were at the time, but I found that Iron Man for you.
I did find them eventually. So they're really good friends of mine. He looks amazing as Iron Man, but because he's obviously very noticeable, and he does look like Iron Man because Iron Man is a suit, and he's done it really well. Loads of people kept coming up and like starting to take pictures over my shoulder, and it was the only shoot of the weekend where I had to turn around and be like, "Would you mind waiting?" And he took off very kindly, took off one of the leg pieces for me because he really wanted a kneeling photo, which is logistically difficult if you're in a suit that big. So we were doing that, and this family came up, 2 families came up and wanted a picture, and I said, like, I turned around like to give them space. I was like, the cosplay needs 5 minutes because we're doing a shoot and they are getting ready, so can you come back later? 2 minutes later they're back going, can we take a picture now? And it was like obviously annoying for them, it was annoying for me because I was trying to shoot, and it was one of those ones they basically ended up having to take a quick picture just to placate them. And then the other photographer was like, oh, could you come over here for a few pictures? Like, no, we're in the middle of a shoot. Just because he looks cool doesn't mean you can take him away from me. Plus, they clearly look annoyed. So, like, back away before you get murdered.
No, no, that's when I see like the member of the public turn up with their like a cell phone, when I just want a quick selfie or quick photo. I know I said cell phone. I'm in my job. I just let them go first. I just think, do you want to just go first? And that way, once they're out of the way, I can carry on what I'm doing, because I think they don't understand or want to be patiently wait. They don't have the patience to wait. So just let them go. But I kind of think like those with DSLR cameras should have more patience to wait.
I think I would have understood more if they weren't clearly doing something. I think that's what got me. I was like, clearly he's getting his wife to like adjust all these parts of the costume. It's not a time where you would ask that.
But like I said, they just wanted to have that opportunity and do that. So yeah. I said on the main podcast, what can we do, or what can we say, or what can I say to convince Lydia to come back, to come to the October, or whichever the next one she can go to, assuming that the Japan trip doesn't wipe her out financially.
Well, I would have gone to October, but I'm not here.
So
I would always think October over May. I think October
Okay. So October 2024 then, all right? Let's say, what can I say to Lydia that could say... So I still don't get when you said the NEC has a better location for photos than... The only thing I can give you credit for is the lake. I do admit that's a beautiful area. It's a lovely area.
So,
but I was going to say... Yeah.
I just think there's way more variety, and like some of my favourite photos have been taken at Birmingham, and it's because of the location. Like, there's been so much cool stuff I've done, and it's been at Brum rather than MCM, because MCM May, I just think it's just the same stuff, and like it's also the thing with MCM May is that it's stuff that you could get anywhere else. Like, you can get trees I mean, apart from the Sunborn, as we've talked about, we love the Sunborn. Yeah. Like, at MCM May, I mostly shoot by the Blue Door and, like, that little area.
Oh, yes. And
that's, like, my bit where I,
That's through road, shall we say, for...
Don't tell people where the Blue Door is. They don't have to fight a bunch of photographers for the Blue Door. It's bad enough.
Going this year! Why are you fighting?
No, because... Right. I used to do the Zelda meets. I mean, I still kind of do the Zelda meets, but I used to do them at MCM May by myself, and we used to have the same spawn point, and it was the great little point. We'd always used to meet there. It's where I used to do my photography, and then I'd do the meets there. And now I have to fight off a bunch of other fandom meets because they've all found out about my cool location. So don't you dare tell me where the Blue Wall is.
Okay, sorry, I will not mention. It's that road towards the Fox, just up the road.
It's literally the only Blue Door, so like you'll see it.
Yeah, like. You can't own property that's not your property.
I cannot know. Yeah, so like, I don't know. If I look at like my MCM May photos, this is speaking as a photographer rather than a cosplayer. Like, it's a lot of the same locations. I think I'm just not very inspired. But when I look at my Brum photos, it's a lot of stuff that you couldn't get if you went. Like, it's not like woods. The lake is, there's the lake. But there's also, like, if you go into, what's the weird, like, resort world?
Yeah.
That gets all lit up at night with, like, red neons. That's a really cool place to shoot. There's the pink wall with a piano. There's the blue wall. There's, your various, like, staircases and stuff, which is something that you get at May as well. But, like, here's a question for you, Eddie. Give me something that MCM May, not the Sunborn, that you can't get at MCM Brum.
Oh. I will get there. Don't shoot me.
No.
All right?
I'll let you like. I'm counting, but I'll let you.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to think. I feel that the outside. Okay, all right. I feel like I can be more outdoors at MCM London at the Excel. Okay, whereas NEC, you can be outdoors, but it's not that. You've either got that lake area, like I said, or you've just got that a mini fountain area, and everything else is just car
No,
parked.
there's the gazebo. I've taken some stunning photos in the gazebo.
Is that new?
It's been there at least 2-3 years. Hold on. I'll go back to my photos. But yeah, it's been
Okay.
there for a while. Because I remember 2-3 years ago there was nobody there, and we got some really cool photos.
Yeah.
And now you have to kind of shoot around people. But yeah, there's the gazebo outside. There's the hedgerows outside. Oh, I climbed. There's like the big structures. I got some really cool photos as myself, and I got some really cool photos of Spider Girl.
Yeah.
On those, and there's the mirrored industrial like skyscraper
Okay.
outside if you're doing superheroes. I've shot there.
Okay, all right. Here's my answer then. Here's my answer.
Mm.
As much as you say there's more opportunity to shoot at the NEC, I think I'll default back to my original answer. It's such a vast area. If you need to get a specific shot, if you're not in the right area, you have to literally walk. Literally, like 20 minutes. Is it 20 minutes? I'll probably exaggerate. At least 15 minutes.
It's a long walk, but then I think to counter that, I think the variety is that no matter where the NEC is, you can make it work. Because, like I said, if you go through my last 3 years of XL and Brum photos, you go through MCMA and it's the underground car parking lot, it's the blue door, and it's the bit around the Fox. Like it's always those bits, and the Sunborn. But like, yeah, I might edit them differently. I might, take out the building so it's just hedge and stuff like that. But if you go through my Birmingham photos, no matter where Birmingham has been, because it does fluctuate wildly, the 3 albums, if you compare them, look completely differently. Yeah.
No, that's right. I was going to say, I think my point was going to be, at least at the Excel, it's one short distant location. The only thing I would say, the only long distance is going from west to east or vice versa.
Oh my god, I've done that. I did it in fawn legs 3 times in one day, and it literally killed my feet.
Yeah.
Don't recommend doing that.
Oh no, and I don't think I'm fighting. I'm winning this fight to get you back next year October. You say all the photographers go. Yeah, you could argue that all the photographers do go both to London and Birmingham, or at least the main ones that go. Because I know I go to both.
But even if the main ones only go to London, there's still a wealth of other photographers that go to Birmingham. And like I said, it's less competitive because it's fewer people. At the end of the day, it is a smaller con. And I think some of MCM success probably does hurt it in that way if you're going from a like photography point of view.
Yeah, but I just find that because everyone... Okay, so I will give you that hot take, but in very, very redacted form. So basically, I just find all the photographers just go to either upstairs or outside the lake area, but hidden. So that if you're just walking around the con floor, you just go, where are the photographers? They don't seem to be...
wants con floor photography?
No, but like, there are sometimes you don't... There are some people there who just go to do the shopping, enjoy Comic-Con, and wear a costume. There are some who genuinely like that. They don't... Yeah. And there's some people who don't want... Not saying don't want to, but they just feel very embarrassed about going to a place to pose in front of a camera. It's not their forte. Yes, they're wearing a costume, but it's not like... You can't ask everyone to have a pose ready. As much as I say you should. If you're wearing a costume, you probably should have one ready. But if you're uncomfortable, then you're uncomfortable. You can't make someone confident and go, yes, I'm ready to go and take a picture in front of a camera. So I just think, I feel that at least with MCM London, everyone knows if you go outside to at least the tree line area, you'll find at least a photographer. There will be some photographers also inside the XL. All right, I know you're saying the con floor photo is not a great flattering photo, but like I said, to some people, it may be one of the only opportunities they feel brave enough to take one because they're not doing the work.
But
things
like that. Counterpoint to that.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Counterpoint would be one. What I said in the earlier thing is that okay, you get your photo taken, but are you ever going to post it? Because is it going to be any good? You're going to have 8 people in the background and like 3 other photographers and 1 tree. Like, if that's what you want to post, fine. But like I said, if you're not into, you don't want to approach photographers and like you don't go to get photos and whatever, all the reasons you just said, get a friend with a camera. You can take your own photos. I think
just agree with me, woman.
No, I honestly don't think you're gonna. I mean, yeah, I just don't think you're gonna convince me, because the only way you can make me go, Eddie, is if you pay my ticket and accommodation.
Right. We'll do a Kickstarter on it. No.
Oh my god, no! I'm strongly of the opinion that if you can't afford to go to con, you shouldn't go. Like, if life is more important, like, well, this is the thing. I'm not going because I can't afford to do.
Yeah, no. Which, from what you said just at the beginning of this extra, yeah, it totally makes sense. But going back to the floor area, going to like the photographers in the upstairs area, I just kind of see that as a very us and them type of things. Like, oh, they're upstairs. Oh, why they're upstairs? Am I allowed upstairs? And I know it's open, but it doesn't scream to me like, oh, hey, cosplayers, come upstairs and get all your photos. And then if everyone moves upstairs, that's then going to become crowded. So
Yeah, it's got worse the last few years,
yeah.
and so back when we first started shooting up there, it was literally just us, and we got a stupid video of us doing like dumb parkour across the sofas in a safe and a safe way. We were doing the office where they do the parkour,
Oh yeah.
because it was empty up there. But yeah, it has got a lot busier, and it has just become it's become the trees of Birmingham, basically.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the photographers that shoot up there, and even I get like, oh, I don't really want to bother them, and oh, they've got long lists, and I barely end up shooting up there now because I miss the con, and like I don't want just a picture with a back wall, and the problem is that there's so many people up there now, it's hard to get
Yeah.
variety, which is why I moved on to going onto the sky deck and onto that little like escalator area, and like you can still get shots upstairs, especially if you character fits it. But yeah, no, I take your point that it is getting similar to the trees, where it's like I don't know who I can approach. It's not like it's out of the way. You're not walking past it and being like, oh, I'll get my photo taken. You have to purposely go up there, and that's intimidating. It is.
Exactly. And that's my point. Is that if everyone's on the ground level and everyone's mixing with everyone, it feels like we're all together at the same level. It's a mentality thing. But if you see that,
I disagree, because walking through the trees is really intimidating for me. Yeah, I find it really difficult to approach photographers, and at the trees, I find it really hard because there's so many cosplayers waiting around for photographers that I'm just like, oh, I just won't, and I just bimble about until like this is why I like booking shoots, because then at least I know that person wants to work with me, or even if we've even had like a message and they've said come find me on the day, like at least I know. I just don't like approaching people now.
why does no? I don't have a queue around me. What does that say about me?
That's because you do schedule shoots, so people know.
That
Look, Eddie schedules his time.
better be the reason.
But you don't just stay in one spot with your light, like which is what people. That's what cosplayers, they see the light and they're like, oh, I'll just hover here because there's obviously a photographer here.
I mean, the lights are not allowed to have on site because you're not supposed to. It says so in the rules.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still a great beacon for like, oh, I need a photographer.
Follow the light. Follow the lights.
We're just fancy moths, right? We're just looking for like light. Yeah, but then I maybe Brum will get worse, because there was the Star Wars meet that tried to happen upstairs, and it was chaos because there was just so many people and there wasn't the space for it. You shouldn't be not having meets up there anyway. Yeah, so I can get your point about that, but I would argue that it's not part of my con experience. Like you don't have to go upstairs. You can just chill. You can still enjoy Brum without doing all of that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So, what else can I do to say? I'll be there at London and no longer at Birmingham if I said that.
Oh, that would make me really sad. That would actually make me really sad.
Yes. Okay. All right. I will never go to Birmingham if you don't come to London. Then
one, that's not fair on everybody that wants to work with you. And two, I would just book you for an out of location shoot. I would instead of paying £90 to go to a con and get 3 photos with you. Not that I don't love working with you.
Excuse me.
No,
Six.
Yeah. And like we got some great shots last MCMA. So it's not like I think I'm never not going to go back to MCMA.
Oh yeah.
But I think they either need to. I don't know. They can't lower the prices, because when has a company ever been?
Well,
like,
okay.
But yeah. I think they should. I think they should bring back Artist Alley they should support Artist Alley more and make that more of a draw, because
Okay.
that is a big draw for me. It's a real
Okay.
shame about the Masquerade.
All right. Okay. Hang on. I have an idea. All right. Now, here's a question I probably should have asked in the main podcast. For £90, do you want either the price goes down but the artist alley stay the same, or £90 artist alley gets bigger? Which way?
For £90, I'd want better panels. They're getting better with panels. I will say that they are getting more interesting panels. But yeah, I would want more. Personally, I'm not a big fan of I don't really go to
Yeah,
the
you
big
know
celebrity panels.
yeah.
But for £90, I would expect there to be at least one a day, where because they used to have big panels, like they had Umbrella Academy.
I don't think that's everyone's memory. I think because everyone remembers when 2-3 events they brought in Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie, literally the big MCU actors. But literally it was only just those two. Oh no, Tom
Critical Role.
Hiddleston,
Critical Role.
Yeah, so that was in a very short succession of it. That's not every time, not since 2013.
No, but I'm saying they could. I see again. I don't really care about celebrities, and I think they already charge an extortionate amount for celebrities. So why would you pay £120 on top of £90, and all you do that day is queue for Sebastian Stan? I don't know. That seems insane to me.
No,
but,
that's fine. But okay,
I'm also not a big Marvel fan, so maybe if it was somebody else, then I would. But it's
okay.
just
No, okay. Let's go back to my question then. Okay, let's rather than saying Artist Alley, do you want the price to go down and everything stays the same, or the price stays as they are? No, price stays as they are and everything else goes up, gets bigger. Would that what would you out of those two? What would bring you back to London?
I mean, they'd never put the price down.
That's not the question I'm asking you.
No, okay. Then the price going down, because I don't think it's worth the price you pay, and I think maybe £60, I think is what it's worth.
Yeah.
£20, is that £20 a day?
Yeah.
Yeah, £20 a day. £25 a day, I think, is what it's worth.
Okay. How about this? £90, same everything else, 4 days.
No, because then I have to take a day off work. That's just costing me more money. Then I have to buy an extra night at a hotel. It's
of course, yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. I don't think. I think 4 days. I don't think they could fill 4 days. I don't think they have.
I tell you something. I remember the day at London Film and Comic Con when I used to go. They used to do a preview day on a Thursday, open at let's say 3 p.m. in the afternoon and open for 3 hours, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the actual.
I'm
event.
sure MCM used to do a Thursday afternoon.
I don't know.
I'm sure they used to do a Thursday. It was very brief, but I'm sure they did a Thursday.
Okay, all right. What else? Okay, I'm now trying to think what other things I could say to bring you. Okay, if
the price isn't going to go down, I think they need to look at other cons and what other cons bring to the table that they don't.
Literally just about to say. So if they said there is a big Zelda meet, not Zelda, they've got the cast of Zelda turning up, or the cast of My Hero Academia turning up, or Princess Peach. I'm trying to think of all the cosplays you've done.
You can pull it into my fandoms. I see what you're doing. I see you.
If they had an event day type of thing for those franchises, would that change your mind?
I mean, this year they are doing the Guinness World Book of Records Zelda meet of cosplayers.
Oh, I think I did hear about that.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely gutted that I'm missing it. But it's still not enough to bring me, even for that one day. I was tempted, but for one day, I mean, no,
yeah.
And they've had the whole My Hero Academia. They've had the English VAs there. They've done that before, and I don't know. It's not why I go to cons, and I think that's why personally it's not worth it for me, because there's nobody you could bring to a table or to a panel. There's no guest, I think, that would make me be like, oh, I really have to go to con, because I don't know. I find celebrity worship quite weird, personally.
Celebrity worship.
Yeah, I find like I said, paying £120 and queuing for 4 hours to meet Sebastian Stan, or any celebrity. I'm just pulling Sebastian Stan out.
Oh no, that's fine. I know you mean. I personally knew what you meant.
He's the last one I remember being like, really big and it was a whole thing. Like for me, I don't know, that just doesn't appeal to me in any way.
Yeah.
And again, there's no celebrity, even when because I've met quite a few, not to like name drop, but I've met quite a few celebrities, and like even then I've not, I don't know, yeah, maybe it's because I have met people without paying that it then feels weird to be like, I'm gonna pay. Was it at LFCC where you could meet oh, what's his name, Michael J. Fox?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Optimus Prime, the truck.
No, you could meet Michael J. Fox, and it was like your entry ticket into the con, and then you had it was over like £150 to have a photo with Michael J. Fox, and you got like 2 minutes with him, and I was like, this poor man has sat here all day and just cycled through people. And like it was a whole thing with Stan Lee where you couldn't get your photo retaken even if you had your eyes shut, and I was like, how quickly are they buzzing people through?
Yeah.
Can't even, and I don't know, it just feels, it's, I don't know, I mean, if that's you, I mean, I have friends that have paid to meet celebrities and they've had really good experiences, they've had really good moments and like cherished memories with these people where they've connected with them, and I'm like, that's great, that's wonderful, just not my thing.
That's fine. I've just realised I've got a celebrity photo I'm missing. Shit. Okay. I think I'm going to bring this podcast extra to an end because one, it's getting. I don't want to make this as long as the main one, and second, I now need to find this bloody photo. So
I feel like I've been even more negative in this extra one than I was before.
I have failed completely.
I have just like, yeah, I've gone for people that like panels, I've come for people that like celebrities, people who spend. I'm just like, you know what, you're all rubbish. I don't think that, honestly, if that's where you want to spend your money, that's fine, and I would be right there with you if I had that money. I just don't right now.
No, it's fine. It's not a problem.
But like, yeah, like if I've always said, like, whatever makes you happy. Like, I get stick from my family sometimes where they're like, oh, you spent this much money on fabric, or you spent this much money, you spent £700 going to con. It's like, yeah, but I also don't spend like £60 on a bottle of wine with dinner. Like, we all have things that we do.
And I again, it's something I probably should have mentioned on the main podcast, but I've also said it on previous podcasts. Like, I think I've said it when I said that one dick who thinks they could charge out, who thinks they're special enough to charge cosplayers, that they think they could be supplemented by cosplayers. Like, cosplayers spend a lot of money getting to the event, buying, making cosplays, things like yada yada yada. Why should cosplayers supplement the photographer? I just think that's not the right way of doing it. But anyway,
I think for me, like, just to like kind of, so I don't get cancelled, but no, but personally, I just think if you're happy and like that's where you want to spend your money, and like you're not hurting anyone, and like I never want to stifle somebody else's joy. If you find joy in doing these things, I'm just some idiot on the internet. Don't listen to me. Like, I have my stupid things I probably spend money on that I shouldn't do, and I have you probably look at me and be like, what an idiot, she's bought this thing. So like, if it brings you joy, go for it. And if you think MCM's worth it, I've got plenty of friends that do think it's worth it and think I'm like this miserable person that when I said I was on this podcast, they were like, oh my god, Lydia, it's gonna be terrible. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, fine. I wish Amy could have come on here because we had a whole like discussion yesterday when I was like, I don't think it's worth it, and she was like, wait, let me tell you something. So like, people do think it's worth it, and that is completely up to you.
No, that's fine.
It's the same with anything, but like,
I
don't want anyone to feel bad that I've said it's not worth it, because it's not worth it for me. It doesn't mean it's not worth it for you.
Yeah. No, I love that we spent an hour and a half chatting to each other, and literally one of the last things you said was, "You don't have to listen to me." Like, thanks.
Yeah, just put that at the start. Yeah, disregard this podcast.
But like,
go listen to the Fever Dream one instead.
But I'm risking also my, because I only go to the event if I've got a press pass, and I'm risking it that if MCM Repop ever listens to this podcast, I'm going to go, this is quite
negative. Put it on me. That's fine.
It's all right. I'm not saying I don't care, but it's like it is what it is. Anyway,
I mean, all press is good press, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
We should be talking about them.
Yeah. On that note, I'm going to end this podcast extra. Lydia, thank you very much. And I'm going to look for that picture now. Where did it go? Anyway, bye, guys.
Bye.